Sarada's power. Sarada's power. I want to make one more video on this because honestly, I don't think her power is enough to somehow, some way, be just like Boruto or at least at the same level. Her power is the same thing as Sasuke. But keep this in mind if you really think about it. Boruto's power surpassed Sasuke. I mean, at some point in time in the manga, in Boruto, not Two Blue Vortex, and the other one, you know how those, giant cubes spawned in by Kawaki? Naruto couldn't even dodge them. Boruto dodged them with ease. Now he's more powerful than ever and he uses instant teleportation like that. What? Like, you know what I'm saying? Sarada doesn't have that power. Sarada's power and her power that matches against Sasuke is probably the Mangekyo Sharingan. And even then, it has a weakness and it probably needs to be solved fast. And I mean fast. And I get it. Boruto is one of those, animes where it relies more on technology than actual chakra. So, if you literally see the entire Boruto anime, it literally just covers more about technology than chakra itself. Like, literally, every single shinobi in Boruto, not literally, but most that you get introduced, either uses some special power that they have, or maybe they have intense power, or they have special technologies to help them win in fights. And that's like 90% of Boruto's teaching, if you really think about it. I mean, if you look at like pills, and if you look at, all of these stuff, Boruto mainly focuses on technology. And I do think that Sarada will have some way or form to make her powers, just like, tech, right? And maybe have a tech Mangekyo or something just to make, her Mangekyo Sharingan alive, for the rest of her life. But even then, I do think that's not enough because if you really think about it, right now, Sarada's power is the same level as Sasuke. Even if she unlocks the Mangekyo Sharingan with, the Susanoo, it still looks like it's the same amount as what Sasuke would be because at the end of the day, you're just fighting the same weapons, right? Sure, it's different, and maybe it's a little bit different colored armor, but even then, it's the same weapon, same armor, and the same techniques that you're fighting, just with different abilities, That's it, right? And imagine you're coming in with godlike abilities. Like, let's say, the god of Shinobi comes in. Guess who's gonna fight in the battles? Boruto, and also Kawaki, and also Mitsuki. But even then, Mitsuki can't even fight against them because his power is already as strong as Naruto, if not as strong as Sarada and as strong as Sasuke, right? And even towards the end, it won't be as strong. It just won't, and it cannot be as strong because at the end of the day, Sarada is just going to be left behind like everyone else. And that's what I theorize. I think this is what I fear about these, mangas, right? And I do love mangas, and I do like reading, cool mangas out there. Every single, Boruto, Naruto manga that they've released with like, that features women, right? Or like chapters that features women, like woman arcs, it doesn't add a lot to, the manga. The only thing it adds is probably, Sakura heals her hand or something. Well, Naruto could do that if he wanted. Like, literally, hey, Kurama, give me chakra. Boom, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe, let's say, Sakura pulls out her hair and just cut, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I changed. No, right? It doesn't add anything with power. Sure, it adds things with character, but the power itself just doesn't add up. And the thing is, I do think that Sarada is going to be left behind, and even Mitsuki too, simply because their powers won't rival against each other. And in actuality, I think this time it makes sense than Naruto, right? Naruto, it just felt like it was sexist in my opinion. And yes, I'll say that because it did just feel like it was just focusing more on the men, and a lot of the women had potential. And actually in Naruto, literally the main thing is, work hard, be strong. And they should have been at least not the same level of strength, but at least within each other's strength, right? And it just didn't feel that. It like within the woman at least, right? It just felt like they were weak. Like Ino, she did have healing powers, but at least try and match a little bit like with Sakura or something, not with insane strength, but something like that. And it didn't provide something like that. But you see Sarada, and even Mitsuki, I think this time it makes sense that their powers, and I've been thinking a lot of this too, is their powers is going to go, let's say, downhill or more like aside, is simply because I do think that this time the focus of the story isn't work harder or stronger, or which technology is better, or is technology and or hard work is better. You know what I'm saying? The biggest thing that we're going to be focusing on in Boruto in general, the biggest thing we're going to focus on, who the fuck can survive these gods? That's it, right? You know what I'm saying? That's it. Sure, Sarada could do that, but even then, who needs to fight these gods? Who needs to follow these gods and try to defeat them? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about Boruto. Boruto is not going to be an anime where it's just going to cover random, strong, powerful shinobis like the Akatsuki. They're going to discover godlike figures, and one of the two main characters that is prone to godlike figures is Boruto and Kawaki, but the third person is Sarada. But the problem is Sarada's parent, one person, Sakura, is not from a godlike bloodline. Therefore, it would make sense for her chakra and her power to somewhat be a little bit behind from the rest, but even then could at least follow support, okay? But I think even then, sometimes when people have support characters, they end up, accidentally making them the weakest characters, only strong if it needs to, like Sakura when it came with Naruto's heart and stuff like that. But even then, I do think that's going to happen with this case. But I do think if they do write it just the right way, where, with the same enough powers and her lasting longer, within battles, instead of freaking, Sakura, within 5 seconds, she's like, oh no, I need help. You know what I'm saying? And she even mentions this multiple times throughout the anime. Even towards the end of the anime, it's like, should I join Naruto and Sasuke? Turned out, Kakashi went, no, just don't. They're both battles. In actuality, she couldn't even handle them, right? One punch, sure, probably could have hit, a Susanoo or something. No, you know what I'm saying? Not Sasuke, right? Sasuke Susanoo couldn't even handle, couldn't even, to be fair, it handled pretty much, the light. And it pretty much handled, a lot of crazy strength that Madara pulled off. It was crazy. But even then, there's just a lot of things that, Boruto could at least improve on, within these characters and within, these stuff. I don't know, I think I just was off topic for a second, but I do just want to say, I do think that Sarada's power would make sense for her, and even Mitsuki to go a little bit behind than the rest, simply because they're just in the world and they're trying to protect the world, and even Sarada's ambition is not to be, godlike or something, it's just to be Hokage. And I think nowadays, one of the things to be Hokage is not power, right? If Shikamaru is Hokage, anyone can be Hokage as long as you're smart, right? And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Sarada's power will not become power. I think her power will actually be weak on purpose and will become power of love, power of protection. That is a different type of power. And if you guys don't know this, that is also the weakest kind of power if you really think about it. This power is only strong when you're generally caring about someone and generally trying to understand about someone to the point where it pushes you to the edge and to protect them from all your heart and all your mind. And yes, it could be the weakest power out there, but it could still be enough to protect people. And I think that's what Sarada's power and main character is going to be on. Sure, it's probably going to be weaker. Sure, it's probably going to be a lot of these things, but I do think that Sarada would make sense for her to be in the weaker side, simply because her ambition is not fighting gods or something like that, like Boruto, because Boruto has to fight these gods. Her ambition is one thing and one thing only, is to be the first Uchiha Hokage, as long as she unlocks the Mangekyo Sharingan and even the Eternal One. And if she wants a little bit of the Rinnegan, she should be fine and ready to go. She don't have to have all these crazy things, as long as she knows how to protect her friends, protect her allies. That's it. That's what Sarada is going to be focused on. But I do think someday, in Sarada's storyline, I do think in just some way and someday, I feel like Sarada is going to be left behind. And I do think one day Sarada is going to be the next, Sakura, where she's going to be like, it's there. What I'm saying? But I do also feel like there's also one person that's going to be the next Sakura, and that would be, I forgot her name, the class rep, right? The class rep is such a, cool character, but even then, very useless. But let me know what you guys think about Sakura, Sarada, and all these other types of characters out there in Naruto. But let me know what you think. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm actually exhausted. I've been doing this for like 40 minutes. I just kept on recording. I'm going to upload all of them in one day. But anyways, that's it. And I'll see you guys later. Subscribe. Bye, guys.